Gotta mention this before we get underway with today's video. I'm gonna be heading over onto Canuck Clay's YouTube channel to hang out with him on his 10 p.m. PST Canucks livestream. So go ahead, check out his channel. It's late night, so I get it. If you're on the east side, it's probably a bit too late, but still, try to make it out there, especially for a nice way to end off your weekend, I guess, hanging out with me, hanging out with Clay, reading the chat, interacting with the chat and everything. It's gonna be a good time, but today's video is going over probably one of the more interesting ideas that has presented itself in the trade rumor sphere in the past few weeks. Now, what a great time to talk about this, as yesterday the Red Wings, even though they ended up blowing up a lead against the Toronto Maple Leafs because Michael Bunting is Michael Bunting and he did his thing, there still were some pretty interesting Red Wings players to cover from yesterday's game. One of them is the guy who scored to give the Red Wings the lead earlier on in the game. His name is Vladislav Namestnikov. He had himself a very nice goal where he pulled over a rebound and shot it in 5-hole past Peter Mrazek, and I think he had himself the signature celly once again, where he grabs onto the winged wheel on his chest and he shows it off to the crowd and he flashes it. Just the pride there in being a Red Wing. Very great to see. But Vladislav Namestnikov is an interesting player because not only does he score some pretty interesting goals, he also has himself an expiring contract. He's making $2 million this season, and this contract does go on till the end of the year. Because he is in a position where he's 29 years old, and he's a pretty versatile enough scoring forward, there is some speculation that says this guy could be a trade candidate. Take a look at the profile over here for Namestnikov. As we said, 29 years old. He's 6 feet 181, drafted in 2011 by the Tampa Bay Lightning. This season for the Red Wings, he has himself 22 points in 45 games played and 12 goals as well. Namestnikov has always been one of those interesting type of players where you don't really see him as one of the guys who is always going out there getting points. Like, he's not consistently on the board as a Larkin or a Bertuzzi or a Raymond is, but when Namestnikov does get going, he does show off some brilliant flashes once in a while. Sometimes he can go out there, lead a rush, dangle by a guy, and force his way to the goal, shoving it into the net. Other times, he's out there picking up rebounds, doing some nifty plays in tight, and getting it by goaltenders. Other times, you're taking a look at it and he's the final guy on a 2-on-1 who takes the receiving pass, dangles it by a goaltender, and scores a very nice overtime goal. Namestnikov is kind of sneaky in the way that he creates offense, in that he's always sort of there, but he sometimes isn't. And the odd one or two times that he catches you by surprise, it's usually in a very positive way. Which is why we have ourselves these trade rumors that have Namestnikov involved within them. This article on The Athletic kind of goes over a different angle that I wanted to explore in this video. NHL Trade Deadline Big Board. John Klingberg, Jacob Chychrun, and 28 others who could be dealt, published by Eric Duhacek. This is from January 19th, so it is from a while ago. It's been a week and a half ago, pretty much, but we're only really covering it now because I kind of had other topics that I forced in there as well that I thought were also cool to talk about. But because The Athletic is paid for material, we're not going to go over and screenshot anything in this article. The link will be in the description if you do have The Athletic and you want to go ahead and check this one out. Our main source that we're actually going to be reading from, though, comes from NHLTradeRumors.me, and the title of this article goes over everything that we're trying to explore in this video: NHL Rumours, Vladislav Namestnikov back to the Tampa Bay Lightning. This article starts out with a little paragraph about the Detroit Red Wings. Despite their moderate improvement over last season, the 18-17-5 Red Wings do not figure to find themselves embroiled in a deep playoff run this spring. And as a result, they will be looking to move some veteran players with expiring contracts for draft picks. One such player that fits that description is Red Wings center Vladislav Namestnikov, who will be entering free agency following the season and is easily movable with a modest $2 million cap hit. The article goes over how Namestnikov was acquired by the Red Wings. It was 2 seasons ago. Colorado Avalanche, it was a 4th-round pick over there before he signed a contract with the Red Wings in the offseason. You take a look at where this article heads, though, this is what they have to say about the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning do not own their 3rd or 4th round pick this season, but perhaps the Wings would settle for a pick in next year's draft, where the Lightning have all but their 2nd round pick to offer. The Athletic's Eric Duhacek suggests that Tampa may be interested in a reunion with the two-way center to help bolster their bottom six group of forwards, which was depleted by free agency and a number of cap-friendly moves. That's funny. I like the use of that adjective right there, cap-friendly moves they were forced to make this past offseason. Namestnikov could replace Pierre-Edouard Bellemare as their third-line center between Patrick Maroon and Corey Perry, moving Bellemare down to his more natural fit at fourth-line center. The Lightning can use all the depth they can get, as they have dealt with injuries to key players all season, including Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point. By the way, NHLTradeRumors.me, proofread your stuff. Braden Point is not spelled without a Y. There you go, there's one spelling correction over there. But as Namestnikov was indeed drafted by the Lightning back in 2011, he had his best days of his career with that team. His career-high year came in 2017-2018, where he had 20 goals and 44 points in 62 games played. Do the math on that. 44 divided by 62 multiplied out by 82. He was on pace for 58 points. Not bad for a middle six center. But as his career went on, obviously he had some time in other organizations, New York, Ottawa, Colorado, all in 1 year, and then heading over to Detroit, while his level of production today with the Red Wings is not the same as it was with the Lightning, and that's kind of understandable why. The Red Wings are a much inferior team to those versions of the Lightning. There still is a lot of value that could go around with Namestnikov on the trade market, and that's not even just to a Tampa Bay Lightning team itself. Namestnikov is just a guy that they're familiar with and a guy that they've developed and honed into who he is today, that it could make itself for a very interesting combination. Now, I do kind of pity Namestnikov in a way, because he was on the Lightning for such a long time, and then after he left that organization, that's when they won back-to-back Stanley Cups. So maybe there is somewhat of a vindication that lies within Namestnikov's heart to say, okay, darn it, I was on this team for a while, and then I left, and that's when they started to win. That might exist, you know? Obviously, Namestnikov is a human being too, so I wouldn't be surprised if emotions like that did somewhat lay dormant in his psyche, but I mean, I don't really think there would be any reason for a guy like Namestnikov to go out there and reject a trade to any NHL team that is willing to acquire him and his services. He doesn't have any trade protection this year, so the Red Wings just kind of have free reign to do whatever it is they want. And if Tampa Bay happens to be that team, because we know the Red Wings are going out there taking everybody from Tampa Bay, because Steve Yzerman is just kind of using the Lightning as his own farm team at this point. Free agent waiver wire pickups and all that, trades. Tampa Bay and Detroit have themselves a pretty good history in the past year and a bit here, so I could totally see the Lightning in a desperate need for a bottom six center to help him out and move Pierre-Edouard Bellemare to the fourth line spot, maybe inquiring about a Namestnikov, and especially since it's written about here in The Athletic, I do think it is somewhat interesting to explore. So if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan, talk to me in the comments about Vladislav Namestnikov. What do you remember about this guy in his limited tenure that he had with you before? Actually, no, limited is the wrong word to use. He spent the majority of his career with your organization. It's just he got moved around a lot afterwards. So let me know in the comments what it is your opinions are about this player. How do you think he fared back when he was on the Lightning in the past? And if you think he could go out there and fill himself a role like this article is suggesting, maybe on the third line in between Patrick Maroon and Corey Perry, do you think that is something you would see value in today? He's a guy that was on your team for a while before, but what about now? Would you rather have him instead of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare in your organization? Why or why not? Let me know in the comments what it is you would be willing to give up for a guy like Namestnikov from Detroit, especially considering the history that you have with Yzerman and his Red Wings. Also, if you're a Red Wings fan, talk to me in the comments, what would you want from a Tampa Bay Lightning squad in a Vladislav Namestnikov trade? Do you want any of those picks from next year like the article is suggesting? Tampa Bay doesn't have too many from this year's draft, so is it next year and the stacked 2023 Connor Bedard year that you're looking for assets from? Or is it a prospect or a player that you have your eye on today in their system already? Let me know in the comments all your thoughts about Namestnikov and the idea of him going back to Tampa Bay. I hope you enjoyed this video. Check out Canuck Clay and his YouTube channel later on today, because at 10 p.m. PST, I'm going to be joining him to hang out and have a good chat with him, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Obviously, I know, I get it. This is a video targeting the Red Wings and the Lightning, so it will be very late when you guys are going to be able to see us at like 1 a.m. EST over there. So I apologize for that. But still, because it's a West Coast Canucks thing, I do think it is somewhat appropriate to go out there and promote that. So check us out. Hang out with us later tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.